Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 4 In Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make your NAT type open just like mine is, so that you can connect to the most people in the game, the most servers, and have the overall best experience with Call of Duty. This tutorial is going to work for both PlayStation and Xbox, but not for PC. Most of you are console players, so it should help a lot of you get an open NAT type. I'm going to be doing some parts live, like this is literally live. I'm controlling it right now. And other parts will be recorded. You can see my connection type is wired. You can see my geographical region is Dallas, Texas. We're going to keep that IP address hidden so that I don't get DDoSed into oblivion. And you can see the internal IP address of my PlayStation, that .242. It's open right now, but I'm going to go ahead and undo all of my custom settings and put it back on moderate, which is where a lot of you probably are. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. I am at my router's admin page right now. My router is a NetDuma R1. To be completely fair and clear and open, I am sponsored by NetDuma. I've been using them for a long time. And even in the little NetDuma feed, you see that I'm planning other sponsored stuff with Netgear, Nighthawk, which also has the Duma OS. But this is not a sponsored video. You can do these same steps on your router at home, regardless of what brand or setting or company or anything. I do think the NetDuma is fantastic for showing you visually what to do. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to go to my device manager, and I am going to figure out which of the many devices in my house is a PlayStation. Now, I've done this ahead of time. You can see I've labeled the Samsung phones, my Sony box, old laptop, Nintendo Switch, the various laptops and stuff, and you can see the PS4 Pro. Now you see that 242 right there. We saw that earlier in the intro. That's how I knew what IP it was and which device. So I gave it a nice little PlayStation 4 Pro name. The very next step is I came down here under settings and I went to DHCP lease. This is very important because it allows me to reserve local IPs so that the PlayStation 4 will never get a new IP address and the rules that I have will always apply. So we're going to go ahead and type in 242 and go ahead and lock that one in place so that it will not be getting a new IP address anytime soon. Anytime you see this page, that's the router refreshing and applying settings. And it looks like it is good to go. Some of the other things we will need to do is go to your UPnP settings, wherever this happens to be in your router, and make sure that they are enabled. These just absolutely must be enabled for this to work. I'm not going to turn them off. And thankfully, the NetDuma comes with some of these essential ports already forwarded. You can see Demonware port mapping. That refers to the Demonware company, which is a subsidiary of Activision. They're a COD studio. Their job is to handle and manage matchmaking. So all of these ports and all of these things are going to go through the UK, so make sure you don't set the geo filter too high. But if you do not have a NetDuma, just take a little screenshot of this and be mindful of these settings because you'll have to do them extra later. The next and most important thing is to go to port forwarding. We need to make sure that all of our ports are open, and we need to make sure they're on the right protocol and the right IP address and the right a lot of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and I have on my right hand side over here again a list of ports to open. I think because I've already done this at home, a lot of trial and error here. So we're going to do Black Ops. That's too much typing. We're going to do BO4. PS4 1 is what I'm going to call it. Our start port is 1935. Again, 1935. And this is going to be a TCP port, and we are going to make sure to assign it at 242 so that it adds the correct rule. And we hit add, and the rule has populated down here. So this port will be forwarded anytime the PlayStation tries to use it for anything. Moving along, let's do BO4 PS4 2, because we have just so many more fun ports to go through today. 3478 is going to be my start port, and my ending port is going to be 3480. This one again is TCP, thankfully. We don't have to change anything. 242 again. Add this rule. The next one is going to look similar, but it's different. BO4 PS4 3. And we are going to port forward 3478. And we're going to end at 3479. This one, however, is going to be a UDP forward. So we're going to go ahead and do that UDP forwarding. at 242. Add that rule right there. Moving along, Black Ops 4. I keep writing dollar signs. I keep writing dollar signs. PS4 number 4. The next one is a singular port. That is just going to be port 80. And we're going to forward it to port 80. Again, that's just 80 and 80. This one's TCP. 242. Add that one in. This is, not all of these will be necessary to get your NAT type open. Oftentimes it's just the first one or two that I've did that will open it up for you. And sometimes it's just like one random one and all the other ones don't matter. But it's good to go ahead and put all of these in just to make sure. Start port is 443, end port 443. This one is TCP again, and we're going to assign it to our PlayStation again. We have a few more to go through. Actually typed that one correctly, that's good. We have to port forward port 88. This one is going to be a UDP port. And that is going to be on the PlayStation again, so we're going to add that rule. And then we have one last set of ports to do. BO4 PS47. Start port 3075. End port 3076, so just two ports. This one's TCP and UDP, and we do 242 again to assign it to the PlayStation. So after all of that super exciting fun number crunching, you can see that we have added 7 new rules for port forwarding for various ports that Demonware or Call of Duty or your PlayStation will try to use to judge your NAT type. And we go ahead and hit apply at the bottom to make sure that all of these rules are applied. The router will take just a moment to do its own thing, and it looks like we are good to go on the port forwarding. Yes, yes, yes. This should be all that you need to open up your ports on both PlayStation 4 and on Xbox, though this same process will not apply to PC. I've just done a PlayStation 4 nomenclature because I'm using PlayStation 4 today, but if you're on Xbox, it will do the exact same thing. Okay, let's see if we can swap back over to the game. Where are we going here? Yep, there's the game. Let's go here. And as predicted, still open. So we don't have a strict or moderate NAT. We have an open NAT, whatever you want to call it. And anybody can connect to me. I can host any lobby. I can connect to the greatest amount of servers. And this helps me generally have the opportunity to get better connections and just have a more fun time playing the game. So that's kind of all you need to do. Again, this one was done with the NetDuma, which I love and would recommend. It's linked down there below, but this isn't really like a sponsored plug thing. You can do this at home with your own router. Almost every brand of router has these kind of settings available. They're just not always this visually easy. Sometimes they're a little bit more complicated to work with. Well, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful, and hopefully I can connect to you soon in the future. Drifter out.